everyone, welcome back. If you are new here, welcome. Today you see the thumbnail, you see the title of the video. Today I'm going to be doing a reading on Kim Hyun. I hope I pronounced his name correctly. And what made me interested in doing this reading was because I am currently watching a show that he is starring in on Netflix. And I happened to just go online. I was like, I wonder if he's married, because he's like, at least as far as I know, here in America, okay, he is like one of the highest, if not the highest grossing Korean actors. So I'm like, okay, he seems like he's an eligible guy. He's cute, he's rich. What's the problem? Talented. He should be married, right? He probably has kids. To my surprise, no. So this sparked this whole thing where I kind of went down a rabbit hole for a second, just trying to look up little tidbits about him, and pretty much all the websites have the same general things. He's an Aquarius. He was born this day. This is his father. I seen something, maybe he potentially has a half sister, allegedly. Single, no kids, the entertainment company he's signed to, the projects he has worked on, and that's basically the gist of it. There's nothing else about his personal life. I think this is something that is pretty common for a lot of Korean actors. I don't know if there's just something here in America where we don't get a lot of it, or if it's something where just, Korea has a tight reign and control over how much gets out about their actors. But I was like, okay, screw it. If I'm not going to find it on a blog or something like we do here, I might as well do a tarot reading. And obviously you're interested as well. Otherwise you wouldn't have clicked on this video. So with that little spiel, my little nosiness coming up here, that's what sparks me to do this reading. So I just want to kind of get in. This is basically an energy reading. What's going to come up about Kim Hyun, whether it's going to be love, work, or whatever, I'm open to it. I just want to see kind of like what's coming up for him. Hopefully it'll be some interesting tidbits. But before we get into the reading, I do have a few housekeeping things. Yes. Reading. What do you mean, LotusMaje, by reading? I mean tarot reading. If you are someone who is new to my channel, again, hello. Yes, I use cards. I'm using cards to kind of just pick up on any intuitive messages that spirit and the source above the galaxy seems me worthy to pick up on. I use things like astrology, numerology, colors, of course, cartomancy. I use all of those, geomancy. I use all of these kind of things to just kind of pick up and get an understanding of what messages I'm receiving. But with that, because it's a message, because it's something I'm interpreting, and because I'm kind of a newbie when it comes to things like this, with at least tarot readings, I've always kind of been a spiritual girly, picking up on things, but tarot is still something kind of new to me. It's something I'm using to hone my powers, to practice my powers a bit more. So there is room for misinterpretation. We're just going to put that out there. I could be wrong. I could be right. I could be, 99.9% right. And it's that 0.01% thing that I got wrong. And with that being said, I need you all to utilize your powers of discernment. That is a power all of us have. We should all exercise it. I don't care if it's with my videos. I don't care if it's with some well-documented medium or professional astrologer, some seer, another tarot reader. I don't care who it is. Always exercise and utilize your power of discernment. Even the greats mess up, okay? So just keep that in mind. And the second housekeeping thing is a little disclaimer. As you can see along the bottom of this screen, it reads, all statements made are alleged for entertainment purposes only. I'm going to need you to read that 2 times. It's also down in the description, and I'm saying it verbally here for a triple seal for you to understand that you should not take tarot as something as the end all be all. Okay. I definitely don't want you to take mine as the end all be all. Okay. That's why I just gave you this whole spiel about discernment, and that this is alleged for entertainment purposes only. Okay. So now that we have those housekeeping rules out of the way, let's get into this reading. And my mic picks up freaking everything. My neighbor has people coming and going, and if I wait for them to leave, it's just they're gonna be out there running it for a minute. And I'm on a time frame here, so I'm sorry if you hear the muffler and the big truck in the background. All right, that doesn't count. I'm just kind of shuffling off the energy here, any stagnant energy, because look, all of this. Yep, this is why I'm kind of doing that. I've been having some explosions from my cards lately. Thank you, Royal Family. If you haven't seen that, yeah. All of my cards just been exploding lately. Okay, this flipped over in my hand. This is the Ten of Swords, but it didn't hit the table. Oh, and then I had everything hit the table. I get 1 or 2 more cards, Spirit. See, I told you, you guys, I've been getting like an explosion. I usually like when that happens because it means I'm going to get a lot of juicy tidbits, but it's been happening a lot since I did the Royal Family, and I don't know about that. And yes, I have cleansed. Before the girlies in the back say something, yes, I have. Okay, and we also have the Five of Swords. Okay, so I have the Three of Swords here for him. I have the Malik of Cups, which is basically the King of Cups here. And then I also have the Five of Swords. And then the underlying energy is the World. This is interesting. The Three of Wands in reverse. So I think there's 2 different things here. And I think this is dealing with his romantic and his work life that's coming up here. Maybe personal. So the Three of Swords, of course, speak to like a tremendous heartache. It can deal with like, you know, overcoming a, what do you want to say? Like yeah, a heartbreak, some kind of disappointment, some kind of tremendous disappointment that you're going through. With the Three of Swords here, it's just a heartache, and it seems like he's getting over it because the Three of Swords here is coming up in the upright. It's not coming up in reverse. So you know, it makes me hopeful that it's something that he's getting over, that he's kind of working through, he's healing from, and trying to process and move forward with. The Malik of Cups here. Usually the King of Cups, I don't know if he is a, you know, a water sign, rising or moon. I do know he's, again, an Aquarius. I believe his birthday passed not too long ago. It was in February. So it's pretty interesting that we have the Malik of Cups coming up here. I wonder if he is someone who is just like a little ladies' man, or, you know, potentially he's tapping into his kind of like Piscean energy I kind of get with the Malik of Cups. Well, Pisces give me more the Page of Cups, not the Malik of Cups or the King of Cups. Maybe this is more tapping into that Cancer, Scorpio energy. Yeah, I think actually the Malik of Cups kind of taps into that boundary of Scorpio, Aquarian energy, actually. So yeah, there could be a little mystery here. There could be some maturity. There is some outlook. Maybe there is some emotional dissatisfaction that he's been experiencing, or some setback or failure that he's experienced that he's trying to overcome. So we do have the with the Malik of Cups here, it reminds me of kind of like that Aquarian meets Scorpio energy, which if you know, you know, they can get on the cusp of some really perverted ideology. But then we also have the Five of Swords here, and the Five of Swords, to me, I usually think of it as kind of like the even though most people get it with like the Seven of Swords, the Five of Swords to me kind of feels like sometimes like backstabbing, bully card. Sometimes it can read like a backstabbing card. Sometimes it just reads like conflict coming up. Sometimes it can read, it can feel like, ooh, sometimes it can feel like being backed into a corner. What's another word? Surrender or defeat, you know, kind of energy is kind of what I get sometimes with this, at least particularly with this Five of Swords. But typically with the Five of Swords, I get like a backstabbing energy. And then we have the World card here. And the World card could literally mean the public at large. It can mean that there is, you know, certain criticism from the outside world that he's considering or that he's heard, that maybe he is trying to control or infiltrate. To me, this also feels like there's something here. I don't know, like he wants to do, there feels like there's a lateral move he wants to make maybe in his career that hasn't quite worked out the way that he wanted. And he's kind of struggling with that. Now, the Three of Wands is pretty interesting because we start off here with the Three of Swords at the beginning, but it's ending with the Three of Wands in reverse. And if you don't know, the wands to me is typically like a phallic image. It's a, you know, and seeing that we started off here with the swords and the cups here as well, I wonder if there may have been something with a particular other person. I do not want you to get hung up on the sex or the gender that's on the card. That's why I speak in very like loose terms here. You know, I'm not trying to out anybody, but I'm also not trying to put anybody in a box. Okay. So it's interesting that we have the Three of Wands here, because the Three of Wands could also speak to, yeah, again, sometimes it can speak to you've made a decision, now it's time to move on, but you have yet to move on. There is something that needs to be communicated that maybe that is not being received. It could be something here of like almost like bridges, like you burning bridges that you probably have burned too early, that you need to probably go back and reconnect on. Don't rush into that too fast. So this is kind of like what I'm getting off rip. Sorry. I wonder, is there a man that he's kind of removed from his inner circle recently or something? Or someone who is like that Aquarian Scorpio energy that he's removed from his inner circle. Let's see if I'm going to get a bit more information. Okay, this flipped over in my hand, but it didn't come out. This is incense, and usually this deals with like spiritual cleansing, ritualistic stuff. Let's see. Ooh, we got the Mountain, the Heartbreak, a woman. Ooh, coming up in reverse. Said don't get hung up on the sex here. The marketplaces what also came up to me in this. It just flipped over in my hand, and usually it deals with kind of like shopping around, of course. Oh, geez. Hold on. Wait. That exploded out of nowhere. Okay, let's see if these come back up. I do want to know, we do have a mountain, an obstacle, of a very difficult obstacle to overcome, dealing with a woman. We also have the heart again. It's coming up in reverse. It usually speaks to some kind of heartbreak. The flowers here usually sometimes speak to, or the bouquet, you know, it usually speaks to kind of like admiration or trying to express one's interest, but maybe it wasn't taken the right way. We also have the cross here, and that usually speaks to, again, didn't I say something about a practice? Oh, that was an incense, sorry. A practice or a spiritual enlightenment kind of going on here. Sometimes the cross to me kind of reads like the Hierophant as well. Sometimes the Hierophant could deal with kind of like your cultural upbringing, your morals, you know, the people who kind of like shape your everyday life. And then we also have the Coffin, which usually deals with things like ending or coming to a sad, abrupt, sad ending. But let's see if that's meant to come out. Yep, this heart definitely wants to come out, and it came out again in reverse. And this incense, because that flipped over again. We also have something about the cloud. Is there anything else, Spirit? Is there one last card that wants to come out in regards to Kim Soo-hyun? A letter. Y'all gonna call me crazy, and that's fine. I don't know if this is potentially a thing, if this is something that could happen in Korea, but I know sometimes we have it here, where some of our celebrities get secretly engaged. Because to me, it feels like there was either, it didn't have to be a secret wedding or engagement, but it could have been like a secret affair going on here. Yeah, because we also have the cloud here. Nobody knew, some obscurity, trying to keep it hidden. We have the ring that usually speaks to union. We have, again, the incense that usually can speak to a spiritual practice. Marriages are usually like a spiritual practice. It's a spiritual bond. We also have the letter here that could speak to a divorce. It could speak to a love letter. It could speak to a contract. It just depends. But with all of this coming up, this feels very kind of like romantic to me. With the woman, the heart, the cloud, the incense, the ring. This is reading romantic. Was there potentially a conflict because of his business, maybe? Because of where he is in his career, he couldn't, or he can't, kind of like allegedly, this is all alleged, come forward about being in a relationship or being married or engaged, because it could hinder his career. Maybe the person that he's interested in could hinder his career or tarnish his brand in some sense. He's not a playboy, is he? Does he like just play around on the field because he knows he's a handsome guy? He knows he's a catch. That one doesn't count because it just slowly floated off my hand because I didn't tuck it back in. Here we go with that Earth, the World card again, gradual progress. One thing I would encourage, I don't know if he's someone who's like on a strict schedule where he just feels like he's on a treadmill. Like, I just have to work. I have to keep putting myself out there. I got to do this. I got to live very regimented. But I think he is, especially as somebody who's like an Aquarius, maybe who has some Piscean influence in his chart somewhere. Something in here reads watery to me. I really want to say it's Pisces, maybe Scorpio. I wouldn't be surprised if he is a Scorpio in there somewhere because it's a lot of secrecy. But something to me feels that there's a need to nourish his creativity, his soul, because of course it's going to help him creatively with his career. And I think that may be a thing here where there's some discontentment in his career, is because he's not nourishing that artistic side of himself, or he's not being allowed to. Okay, advancing flipped over in my hand, but tapping into Kim Soo-hyun's energy. Is there any additional cards here or messages? This card keeps sticking out to the side. Inner truth. And then lastly, we have didn't I say it feels like he's living like very regimented? I wonder, has he tried to leave Korea at some point in his career? Whether it was for personal reasons, like maybe he felt like he can't do a lot in Korea, or he feels like he's seen all that he can see in Korea, kind of like he's hit a glass ceiling, or if it's a case of like, yeah, again, for his career, he's just trying to move out of Korea because maybe he wants to break through into another film industry. I don't know how, kind of like what you would say, you know, like he's trying to come out of K-pop, or I don't know what they would call it, like Korean Hollywood to American Hollywood or something. Maybe he's just trying to break that mold and he's not being allowed to because maybe he brings the country so much money. So they're just kind of like, nope. Again, something here feels like there's a lot of discontentment and not nourishing his creative side enough. I don't think he's not getting the nourishment and he's not feeding the passionate side of himself. Yep. He's not feeding the passionate side of himself, the things that fuel his creativity and the things that make him tick. And that can be very hard when you're an Aquarius because you operate on the alien frequency, basically. Like you exploring and learning new things is kind of like the basis of what makes an Aquarius tick. They strive to be different and be the humanitarians of the world. How can I be the humanitarian if you keep me stunted in my growth? I will never know other people or get to know other people and other ways of living if I'm stuck in this one way of living. It could be something that really makes them like turn on themselves and hate themselves, of like, maybe you're not doing enough. Believe me, I know. Aquarian energy here. So yeah, that is something that I think is coming up. And I wonder if there has been a lot of stuff where his career has thwarted because he makes so much and because he is such a big Korean star and because of who he is. I wonder if his success, oddly enough, has thwarted a lot of the progress that he has tried to make in other parts of his life, whether it's the romance, whether it's furthering his career outside of Korea, whether it's trying a different career venture or a lateral move, whatever the case may be. I think it has stunted a lot of his other ventures and interests because of how successful he is. And that's what's kind of like hindering him overall. I just want to go back and look at the underlying energies and make sure I'm picking this up right. I do also wonder, I don't know, maybe somebody in Korea can kind of give me more insight. Does he have like an estranged relationship when it comes to his parent, or at least his father, his parents or his father? Because I would say there's something that seems to be an underlying note here as well. And there is something that he's hung up on that he wish he could have. Because I'm just going to go back to, let's see here. Let me clean this up for you all. So he has the Five of Cups. Let's clear this up. So he has the Five of Cups, which usually speaks to almost like despair, mourning, again, like a deep dissatisfaction, almost kind of like on that Three of Swords energy. He also has the Four of Cups card coming up here in reverse, and this deals with apathy, which doesn't surprise me with him being an Aquarius. It kind of deals with like that detachment energy. I'm not quite fully experiencing and feeling all that I should be experiencing and feeling. And then he also has the Ten of Swords. Remember, this tried to come out earlier in the reading. He has the Ten of Swords again. So there has been some brutal and abrupt ending to something that he really wished could happen. Sometimes also with the Swords energy here, you have to think because of wind, air, it also deals with mental. So there's some mental struggle that he is going through. I don't know if he has dealt with depression. It wouldn't surprise me, but, you know, a lot of us are dealing with that. But yes. And then the other underlying card here is the Five of Wands coming up in reverse. So he has the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords here. And this usually speaks to a lot of defensive, battling, abandonment, being on the attack, backstabbing energy, which again wouldn't surprise me in this industry if he feels like he always has to be on guard because people, you know, it's just, you know, the industry, I don't care where you are, the industry is always full of snakes. It's always full of somebody who is envying you. And look here, we have the Mirror of Swords here and it's coming up reverse. I wonder if this is dealing with him. And lo and behold, what do we have next? The Six of Swords, which is also kind of like a travel card. I want to move on and progress to something that is calmer and smoother. I wonder if he's missed the opportunity to get into another field or another film industry again, moving. There's something with some kind of move here, travel, that didn't quite go the way that he wanted. And then we also have the Nine of Swords here coming up in reverse. And usually that speaks to like, yes, it could be nightmares, but sometimes it could be, you know, the type of energy of like, I don't want to say despair, but yeah, like I did all that I can for it and it still wasn't meant for me. That sucks. So that's all of the underlying cards here. Oop, let me straighten this out for you all. So that's pretty interesting. All of that is coming up for him. I do wonder if there has been some cost again to his personal life, his romantic life, maybe some level up that he was trying to do in his career wise because of how big and successful he is. And maybe because of how many people sort of have their hands in the jar, in the cookie jar, when it comes to his career. And they're trying to make sure they can get the most amount of money out of him as possible. So yeah, that's what I'm getting in this reading. Let me know what you all think down in the comment section below. I definitely would like more insight on this to, you know, shed more light because again, I'm not in Korea. I just thought this would be an interesting reading to do. This is Kim Soo Hyun's energy. So there's also maybe some like cultural things that I'm not understanding that's coming through. So maybe somebody can also provide more insight on that as well. So with that being said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, or if you like this reading, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more readings like this, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell, turning it to all so you can see the next time that I upload. With that being said, I hope you all are living your best life, that you are blessed, that you are feeling joyful, and that you are out here experiencing all that you can experience while you can experience it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.